Hello, Rachel.
What's up, buddy?
Things are a little different, don't you think?
I feel like they're a little different. What's different?
Well, we're not on Zoom.
We are not on Zoom.
No, we're not. So I can't say, to start off the podcast, sitting virtually across from me, because you are sitting physically across from me now.
What's up?
This is our big announcement, is that, hey, we have a studio now. Look at this.
We got the new digs.
Mm-hmm.
We got comfy couches.
We do.
We got fuzzy mics.
Mm-hmm. These will potentially not be here next time, but hey.
They're kind of fun.
I actually really like them.
They're kind of
cool.
fun. Fuzzy mics.
Yeah. We have a table that you can't see that I've already banged my shin on twice so far. So that's great. I've been here for about an hour. And you can't see Rachel's bedroom right behind the camera. There you go.
It's ideal.
Rachel, this is how on the grind Rachel is, that she lives in the studio. She's like Drake, you know? She lives in the studio.
I am literally in the studio 24/7.
Exactly. So yeah, this was our big announcement. We have a studio. Are we able to announce any partnerships?
We have partnerships coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look out for those announcements probably next week.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some big ones that we're really, really, really excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be doing some work in the community, gonna be working with the kids.
Giving back, you know?
Exactly. I think that's this is like kind of a new era of Staff and Graph, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is like everything that happened before. I feel like there was the Ian era before me.
Yep.
Then there was the Staff and Graph, you know, I would say like indie movie
Era
where it was Rachel and I, you know, whether it was at my old condo or, you know, this. And then here we are, the new era, the professional era. We got corporate dollars. We got actual cameras. We got fuzzy mics. We got technological things that we'll be bringing to you as well for content. It's great.
So yeah, let's kick it off. Let's talk about some of the things that are coming.
Mm-hmm.
So
why don't you start us off?
I'm gonna learn how to play video games.
Yes.
On camera.
Mm-hmm.
So Mike and some special guests who are experts in the video gaming sphere are
rhymes with Thrasher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are going to teach me how to play video games. We're also gonna have the THN video gaming guys teach me, so that'll be fun because you'll get to see me throw a controller in all likelihood.
That's great. And it's a good thing that PS5 controllers don't cost any money at all.
$0.
So I'm glad that Rachel will be breaking those. That'll be great.
Do you like to cook?
I love to cook.
So
if anything, Rachel has blown up my phone every time I cook, saying, "Hey, record yourself cooking." And I go, "Hey, I live in squalor, and my kitchen is not camera ready." Well, what's great about the studio is it has a kitchen. So if you liked a less talented, less charismatic Gordon Ramsay, looking at me.
Better hair.
I would maybe, yeah. Depends after the cut that I get. But yeah, we'll be doing some Mike's Meals for One. Actual doing that where you can see, you know, my cooking talents. The one thing that got me through quarantine alive. And yeah, we want to shout out the fact that we have a great social media guy.
Intern Corey,
which is great. So he's helping us out with a lot of great stuff. Obviously, our TikTok presence is going to be big. We're just going to have a lot more fun.
We're going to have Corey's going to do video game stuff. You're going to see Corey a little bit. We'll make sure you get introduced to Corey.
He's going to get some FaceTime. You know, it'll be great. But yeah, we obviously we have to grind still. But it's a nice reminder that hey, what we're doing is working.
Yeah.
And we're having some fun. So Rachel, why don't we talk some hockey?
Did the hockey season start?
The hockey season did start. I can confirm that. I was there in person for the, I guess you can call it a hockey game the Leafs played.
That was so chaotic.
That was pretty wild. It was funny because after the game, Sheldon Keefe was talking and he said that game literally went through every type of thing we prepared for during training camp.
Hey, so they came in prepared. I like that.
Yeah, but he was like, we prepared for the shootout. You know, it was a shootout. We worked on 3-on-3. There was 3-on-3. We worked for, you know, power play, penalty kill, all this kind of stuff. We even had a meeting about coaches' challenges. And a coach's challenge is what swayed that game. It's pretty wild.
I think you look at that and you go, first of all, kudos to Sam Kim and Jordan Bean. Because Sheldon Keefe was ready to issue the challenge before the camera even panned to him. So you look at that and you're like, okay, whatever system they got going, it's working, right? And that was a razor thin call too.
Yeah.
So I think, okay, that's a good sign. It tells me they're prepared. My God, we are now in the third GM, the second or third coach, and they cannot start on time.
Yeah.
But I think, testament, I really liked Max Domi.
Yes.
I really liked Tyler Bertuzzi.
Yes.
And I found that they didn't... One of the things was, when they would play Montreal, Brendan Gallagher and Josh Anderson would always punk the Leafs. There was none of that in Game 1, and that's obviously very small sample size, but there was none of that.
Rachel, can I say something that might go against... That goes pretty much against everything the, I guess, sort of like graph portion of the podcast is?
No graphs.
You know who no graphs anymore, because we euthanized the intelligent. Shout out Ian. No, but do you know who I really liked?
Who?
Ryan Reeves. I thought he played a fantastic game. He did exactly what he needed to do. And the more that I see this guy, because I watch him in preseason, I covered him in training camp, preseason, whatever, the more I start to realize, you know what? At least in this year of the contract, that is money well spent.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, that was that situation with Arber Xhekaj, who I think is a unicorn in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
He is basically the defenseman version of Ryan Reeves,
yes,
with a little bit more talent.
He can play hockey.
Yeah, with a little more talent. Like, I think Arber Xhekaj he's a guy where he's available at the trade deadline is getting multiple first-round picks because all the hockey men are lining up.
He will not be available.
Not a chance.
Like, Montreal is going to hold on to that guy for as long as they can.
Exactly. He's a guy that he's kind of like a fan favorite. He's the Habs version of what Darcy Tucker was years ago with the Leafs. And even though Darcy Tucker was traded for my favorite player, so therefore not forgiven, I kind of agree with you. Like, I think if you look at it, 3 of 4 Toronto's lines have a Brad Marchand babysitter on them.
Yes.
Right? Tyler Bertuzzi,
Max Domi,
and Ryan Reeves.
Yeah.
And if somebody thinks that they're going to punk Fraser Minten on the third line, Ryan Reeves will hop over the board so fast.
And you know what's funny, too, is you could tell already that there was going to be a fight between Reeves and Xhekaj just by the fact that, like, I remember I saw Xhekaj in the first period, he laid, like, I think a little too hard of a hit on, it was either Nyes or Minten, they're both on the same line, so, like, whatever.
The children.
And, one of the children, one of the kids. And I was sitting next to David Alter, who runs the THN Leaf site, and like he was like, "I guarantee you they'll be fighting the next period." It was between these two, and before you would go, "Well, no one's gonna like the closest we're gonna get to," and funny enough, it happened in this game. But like the closest we're gonna get to that is Mark Giordano jumping from the top rope onto another guy.
He actually came in.
He did it again.
Top flew.
That's his only, I guess that's his only move now is to just like belly flop onto an opponent to neutralize. He's like he reminds me like the crocodile hunter when he has to like jump on a croc and like wrestle him to the ground. Like that's his only move on how to submit like another.
So Mark Giordano is team dad. Ryan Reeves, Max Domi, and Tyler Bertuzzi are team bouncers. Mm-hmm. And then you have Fraser Minten and
they're the children.
Matthew Nyes, who are the team children.
And what's funny too is we all expected Fraser Minten to do his rookie lap because it's his first home game. You know, it was first NHL debut. What I wasn't expecting is that Matthew Nyes also did his rookie lap because he never got a home game in the regular season for the Leafs.
Right.
Because he debuted like 3 games left and they had a 3-game road trip. So I was like, oh, that's nice. And you know what? The fact that they were able to come out and actually win that game. It looked dire at certain points.
But I think that might be a testament to snottiness.
Yes.
Right? They go down 2-0, potentially 3-0. Then you have the excellent coaches challenge, totally swings momentum, right? Tie the game, take the lead. But then Montreal comes back, so that's a testament to their character and their kind of ability to bounce back.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think teams of old, right, we've certainly seen this before, where the Leafs would just, like, collapse at that point.
Oh, yeah.
They came back led by the boogeyman. Austin Matthews,
he is back in a big
goodness.
Way. You know what? Well, maybe not according to a certain person I shared a scrum with after the game. And we'll get into that in a little bit, but like this is the return of like the dominant Austin Matthews. Like last year, it is funny to goes to show how good he is that last year was definitely an off year for him. Like, he did not look dominant. You know, his body was broken, but like he still finished with 40 goals, 85 points in I think it was like 71 games or something. Like, just remarkable stuff. The kind of production that would get a player like $10 million on the open market now, and he stumbled to get that. That's like his default.
Yeah, and the other thing is
he's dominant now, bro.
Scored since he entered the league in October of 2016. Mm-hmm. He has the most goals in the NHL, more than Ovechkin, more than Kucherov, more than any other center.
More than McDavid, more than Draisaitl.
Yeah, like he is a boogeyman. Mm-hmm. When he is in boogeyman mode, it's a problem. Like he is gonna be a problem this year if he stays healthy. He is gonna be a huge problem.
And what also I liked about him is that everyone talks about his defensive prowess. It was definitely on point that game. Like his ability, and I know that we talk about this a ton, but like his ability with his stick.
Oh.
Like this guy, like it doesn't matter like how far ahead someone is. There is always gonna be a possibility that he takes that from you, that the puck is going to be his. Doesn't matter how far ahead someone is along the board. Doesn't matter, it doesn't matter how many people are in that scrum along the boards. If the puck is in there, there's a very good chance Austin Matthews coming out with it. And I love that. Yeah.
What did you think of the NHL scheduling Connor Bedard, Sidney Crosby to open the season with staggered start times?
I loved that. I don't know if I was a huge fan of a 5:30 p.m. start though. Like,
fair.
Just because, like, at that point, like, people are coming home from work. Like, I'm not sure. But, to be fair, in the MLB, on opening day, they have it in the afternoon. It's supposed to be an event, right? Like, people are going to
they even have playoff games at, like, 6 p.m.
That's true. But people are, like, making time for that, so I get that. Clearly ESPN, or I would say ESPN because they have the national rights, clearly they went to the NHL and it's like, what are we doing here? Like, why is
Which, thank God.
Yes. Like, why is every game starting at the same time? And finally, the NBA does this. The NFL does it. Like, they prioritize like narratives in their schedule making. Like even like minor stuff. Like, obviously Bedard playing his childhood idol in his first game. It's fantastic. But like, just even off the top of my head, like Ivan Provorov playing his old team to start the year. Like, just stuff like that.
And look at Bedard's schedule, right? Mm-hmm. Start off against your childhood idol. Go into the TD Garden.
Into Boston.
First Saturday night of the season, Montreal Bell Center. Then where do you go? Toronto. So they're putting their superstar generational talent coming into the league in the biggest market. Well, he already plays in Chicago.
Yeah, which is massive.
In 3 of the biggest NHL markets. Mm-hmm. 3 original 6 matchups, and then the 4th matchup is his childhood idol.
And Sidney Crosby in a market that's pretty good too for hockey.
Absolutely nailed that.
Yes.
Like, kudos to the NHL for that. Absolutely nailed it.
Here's the thing. I've been looking on social media, and hockey fans, and I even felt prey to this. And this is
how dare you?
I even felt prey to this a little bit because we go, okay. So the NBA, the NFL, all of those leagues, they market their stars so well. Like ESPN is basically like a LeBron fan account. Like anything that he does, they worship. Like
him and Curry.
Yes, exactly. Him and Steph, they did anything. Like in the MLB, Ohtani, Bryce Harper, anyone like that. Like that's all the MLB.com or at MLB on Twitter focuses on. And NFL, it's all Patrick Mahomes. It's all Travis. Like they even with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Like, they changed their backfill, their
the fact that people got angry about that.
It's like, dude, you don't.
People are like, the NFL's bigger than Taylor Swift.
No, it's not.
Absolutely not.
Like, listen, the NFL is a massive entity to the point that it owns the day of the week in North America. Like, literally.
Taylor Swift owns Earth.
Taylor Swift saved the U.S. economy this summer. Like, legitimately, with her Eras tour.
Yeah.
The U.S. would have fallen into a recession if Taylor Swift did not tour around the States, bringing millions of dollars into every city and boosting that economy.
Her tour is going to make over $2 billion. Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, her movie is premiering this weekend, and people are selling the specialty buckets that you get at Cineplex with like Taylor Swift on it. They're selling for $200 on eBay. I saw that today. Like stuff like that.
What?
Crazy. Yes. So stuff like that. But what I was saying is, I'm glad that what I was saying is, I fell prey to this. Is that I was looking at the NHL and like they they publicized and cut clips for everything that Bedard did. Like,
good.
All throughout the preseason, all throughout the regular season, they had him mic'd up on his first game. And because I've been conditioned by the NHL to do this, I was like, in my head, I was like, man, this is way too much. Like, geez, they're really getting on him. And then in my mind, I'm like, stop thinking that way. You've been conditioned. It's like I'm in an abusive relationship with the NHL where I've been conditioned to accept the bare minimum.
Yeah, I think that's, you know what, that's a great point, right?
Prioritize your star, man.
Market McDavid. Bedard has a personality. He's coming in. Market him, and they're doing that. And then I see people on Twitter complaining, oh, do I have to hear about Bedard doing this, and that? Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yes. Like, I want to know how he tapes his stick. I want to know what he orders at Tim Hortons. I want to know what his order is at Giordano's deep dish pizza in Chicago.
Shout out to Sherwood for getting him as their exclusive guy, because every single, you look at the Hockey News cover that we dropped to start the year, Connor Bedard is on it, you see his gear there. He's going to be on every billboard in Chicago because the Bears are terrible, and the Cubs are bad, and the White Sox are bad, and the Bulls are bad, and so you go, oh, there's no one else but that guy. And so he's going to be everywhere, good for them. This kid is the real deal, man. I cannot imagine the pressure that this guy is under. And he has delivered at every level, even to start off as
actually kind of insane when you think about it, right? He goes in, I bet on his shot prop on night one. He hit it with 8 minutes left in the first period.
What was his shot prop?
2.5. I'm like, this thing, anything under 5, and I'm
that's free money.
Smashing it.
That's free money right there.
Just hammer it.
I don't know why I didn't do that. Jeez.
Yeah, man. Oh my gosh. And then it was 2.5 again against Boston. I was like, hi. No!
Yeah, exactly.
Just mashing the bet button. He looks he's already, even in the game against the Bruins, David Pasternak's on the ice, Charlie McAvoy's on the ice.
Brad
he was
Marchand, all those
far
guys.
and away the best player on
Absolutely.
the ice. Far and away.
He honestly does remind me of a LeBron type figure in that he has been hyped since he was 13 years old. And keep in mind, if I was 13 and anyone told me that I was capable of doing anything, I would have become the cockiest kid on the planet. I cannot imagine what it would be like for a 13-year-old Connor Bedard to have everyone around him be like, you're going to be one of the greatest of all time. And him to be him to not just be like, yeah, I'm hot stuff, believe me, I played in the GTHL. I played against guys who get a little bit of that taste.
Oh, yes.
And then they're like, well, I don't need to back check and practice, or I don't need. No, he elevated that, and he's the kind of guy who has been in the spotlight. Obviously, not to the same extent as LeBron, because basketball's a bigger sport than hockey.
Exactly.
But from the prepubescent age, and has exceeded, not just hit expectations, but exceeded them at every level. We expected him to have a dominant World Juniors last year. We didn't expect him to score 3 points a game. And
that was actually so ridiculous.
And I was there. I've seen it in person. I was like, oh, this kid's a mutant. He's going up against kids his own age, or
older.
Or older, but kids that are under 20, and he's making them look crazy, and then making them look terrible, and then he goes in the NHL playing against hardened grown men, the best of the best, and he's still punking them.
Yeah, he is remarkable. A mutant, a total mutant.
The one thing that I worry about with him is that he has Jack Campbell syndrome, in that he hates himself when he doesn't win, because he has said. There's the Billy Bean quote from Moneyball where he's like, I hate losing more than I like winning. And Connor Bedard is basically after a preseason game, I think he had 2 goals or whatever, and they were like, so how do you feel? And he's like, we lost, so it's terrible. And someone's like, how do you shake off that feeling? He's like, go out and win the next game. I'm like, buddy, you're on the Chicago Blackhawks. That means it's going to be a tough year. And then if you look at the picture that he took with the puck after his first goal.
Oh man, he was depressed.
No, he looks like he's being he looks like he is coming home from war. He looks like a shell-shocked soldier.
It's not. I think the difference between him and Jack Campbell is he has the power to strap an entire team on his back and go, we will be good, whether you all want to participate or not. What's really unfortunate is, they lost his line mate right off the hop. Taylor Hall is out week to week.
Which is brutal.
Super unfortunate, because now the best player on his team is Nick Foligno, besides him. How quickly does he get the C? Like, they're not giving
next
it to
year.
anybody else,
next
right?
Year.
So it's going to be like a Crosby McDavid situation where it's like, here's the C.
He'll get the C next year for sure. I guarantee. Like, I will put money on it right now. When we do season 2 of the new year of Staff and Graph, our first episode, whatever, it will be our topic that we pick, and clip this so we can play it in a year, in 12 months. Exactly. Is that we will be talking about Connor Bedard having just been given the C. Like, he will be the captain next year, without a doubt.
I like
Seth Jones thinks he's going to be? I'm sorry, pal. Get ready to learn assistant captainese, buddy. It's not...
assistant captain.
It is... you are not going to be the captain. No. But he's being exactly what he was billed as. It's amazing.
I like it. Yeah, I can't wait to see. Please continue to market him. Like, I hope that red zone thing that they're doing, which, by the way, fantastic idea. Please don't give up on it, because Sportsnet had ice surfing.
Yes.
And I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and they just didn't give it enough time or oxygen to really get off the ground.
Or they put it on Twitter Live, which means you had to have either 2 tablets or 2 tabs open, and you couldn't watch it and go on Twitter at the same. It was... Now they're putting it on TV. What a shocking idea.
Gee, I wonder where they got that.
It's almost like a company that has the rights to the thing should maybe put it on TV instead of Twitter Live and Periscope. But
this has never.
But
been
we're not
thought
business
of.
people. We're not executives.
But I think it's a great. Like, I loved ice surfing because I thought it was a really unique way to bring in.
I watch Red Zone every weekend.
I simply will not watch football if I can't watch Red Zone. I don't want to watch a single game. That's boring.
The only time I watch a single game is in the 4 o'clock window when I watch it with my dad, because he doesn't like switching back and forth games. On a 1 p.m., if you're not doing Red Zone, you're not watching it properly, I would say.
I agree. And, like, I'll watch the Sunday Nighter.
Yes.
But now the Sunday Nighter is, like, Daniel Jones is hurt, so we're getting Tyrod Taylor again. Yeah. No, thank you. Okay, so we like the Blackhawks.
Yes.
I'm excited for when Bedard's here this week.
He'll be here on Monday. I'll be there. Be interviewing him. It'll be great.
Yeah. Okay. The Buffalo Sabres have...
There's a reason why I picked these guys to finish second in the Atlantic this year.
You did.
I did.
Why are young players... I understand old players. Why are young players signing these mammoth extensions, like years long, 7-8 years long, when the cap is going up to potentially $88 million next year and then 96 the year after? Get your bag, kids.
You tell me, man. I honestly don't know. I feel like you would probably have a better insight in why these guys are signing, or like getting the security now, opposed to waiting. Like, why is this?
I think it's so in hockey, contract money is guaranteed, right?
Yes.
It's not like the NFL. You can't just be cut. You can be bought out, but you can't just be like chopped and then.
But you still get money.
You still get money. Yeah. You get, depending on how old you are, a third or 2/3 of your deal. I think because hockey, you never know with injuries. You never know how things go. Like Jake Muzzin, for example.
Yes.
Some agents are kind of the mindset that unless you're like a superstar, you should be signing long-term deals to lock in that guaranteed money. Because what happens if you have a career-altering injury, and then it impacts your earning potential? Look at a guy like, obviously not the same ilk, but Tanner Pearson.
Yes. Right?
Really impacted his ability. Let's say Elias Pettersson, he signed a bridge, right? If he gets hurt this year, like, that could be a major issue.
Exactly.
So I think maybe teams, if they enjoy playing where they are. Rasmus Dahlin signed a short-term deal before he signed this mammoth extension.
Well, that's because he wanted to see that the team was going to be as good as they are.
And now they're animals.
Yes.
Tage Thompson, like, if you look at it, the Buffalo Sabres specifically, Dylan Cousins, Tage Thompson, the 3 defensemen in Power, Dahlin, Samuelson, all locked up. They've got Peterka, Quinn, Zach Benson, who inexplicably fell in the draft, made their team out of camp. Who could have seen that coming?
Definitely not you.
No.
No.
He should have gone top 5, honestly. And you and I talked about this. I'm like, this kid might make the Sabres out of camp.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Sabres could not get to the stage fast enough to get this guy. So now they've got him in the fold. They're set on the blue line. They're set up front. They've got Devon Levi in goal. And you never know, like, you got to give goalies a little bit of time. The Sabres are already a problem. They are going to be a thorn in the side of the entire Eastern Conference for years. Like,
absolutely.
Years.
Yeah. It's... man, getting Owen Power signed to 7 years was 8.35, I think it is. That's an unbelievable deal. He is as solid of a defenseman with still miles and miles of potential to go. Like that is what I love is like, and this is a bad way to
Would you say it's tidy business what the Sabres are doing?
It's incredibly tidy business. And it's kind of, and I know it's bad timing because they just got bounced from the World Series, the MLB playoffs, but like, they remind me a lot of the Braves in that their entire core is locked up for like the next decade. Like, Dahlin, 8-year deal. Owen Power, 7-year deal. Tage Thompson, the second year of his...
No, the first year is this year.
Yeah, so he's in the first year of his 7-year deal. Dylan Cousins in the first year of his 7-year deal. They have Jack Quinn, JJ Peterka, Zach Benson,
Matthew Savoy,
all on their ELCs. So like for 3 years,
hilarious.
And also Matthias Samuelsson on like, was it a 7-year or an
7-year deal?
7-year deal for him.
Peyton Krebs, Devon Levi,
and RFA. So and even after signing, the cap's going to go up, and even after signing these deals, like, because it doesn't matter this year, they have, I believe it's $8.9 million in cap space. So hello, Patrick Kane in like December.
Oh my god!
So like they are a wagon, and if Devon Levi proves to be, even at his young age, a 9-10 goaltender, this is a team that can legitimately, I'm saying this now, legitimately challenge the Leafs for the top of the Atlantic Division. Like, this is a wagon. They built it. And credit to Kevin Adams. I will be honest, I had no faith in him when he got hired. He has proven, he has made me look the fool, and I could not be happier for that.
And they've made a lot of really smart hires. Sam Ventura out of Pittsburgh, Dominic Gallimini from Staff Leads.
Yes.
Matthew Barlow, who worked for the Houston Rockets. Like, they hired a guy who worked in the NBA. And those three make up the bulk of their analytics department. And you can very much tell that they use their analytics. Because if you look at... I do a lot of draft analytics because I'm a...
You know a lot more about prospects than I do. Yeah.
So, I look at it. There is not a player that they have taken... specifically in the top 3 rounds, that isn't extremely good from a numbers perspective. Zach Benson was a top 5 player analytically. Matthew Savoy, the same. The problem, they're short.
Yes.
So that's the thing.
Oh, no. Good thing that Tage Thompson evens their average height.
Yeah, exactly.
Just him being like 6'8", 6'7". Yeah.
And then they've got Yuri Kulik, who shoots the puck like a madman.
We've even mentioned him.
Yeah, he's lighting the AHL up.
And he was lighting the World Juniors up. Like, he's a phenomenal player. He didn't even bear mention.
Yeah, like the Sabres have 8 prospects that are better than most teams' top prospect. It's hilarious, and it's because they use their scouts and their analytics to make collective decisions, and they're not allowing pounding of the table for these guys that are clearly less talented. So they're drafting on merit, and they're developing, clearly whatever they're doing in their development system too is working. You don't get credit for Dahlin and Power because those are first overall picks, but you get credit for Samuelsson.
You get credit for, Samuelsson specifically.
Right?
Yeah.
But you don't get credit for like top 50 picks. Like, you don't get credit for Jack Quinn.
No.
But you get credit for Peterka.
You get credit for Benson too, just being able to pick him where they did.
Which is, that's obscene.
Because there were, 7 teams before him who didn't?
Yeah, he went 13th.
Oh, he went 13th. I thought he went 8th. There were 12.
He's from Vancouver.
Yeah, and the Canucks passed over him. Like, it's...
Yeah. And I mean, Nate Danielson also played in the WHL last year, and Detroit took him. He's a center that is not as good as Zach Benson, but he's taller. And don't get me wrong, Nate Danielson is a great hockey player. Like, I think he's going to have a fantastic NHL career.
Do you think he's going to be as good as Zach Benson?
Absolutely not.
There you go.
And that's...
What about Tom Wallander?
I think that was I think he's going to be a top 4 defenseman in Vancouver for a long, long time, and those are really hard to come by.
They are.
But I think when you get myopic, it can be a problem, and I know that certain teams like big players because there is this perception that you need to be bigger to play in the Western Conference. Trevor Zegras looks just fine to me.
Dude, Connor McDavid looks just fine. Like,
You don't have to be a woolly mammoth. Quinn Hughes is one of the top defensemen in the NHL.
And that guy's never hit anyone.
He would not hurt a fly.
Well, he did just blow up Cody Ceci.
Oh my god, whoa!
Like,
speaking of the Canucks, Brock Boeser?
Yeah, look, listen. Brock Boeser, after all he's gone through, the good guy he is, after, potentially being traded like 3 times at the last deadline and in the summer, for him to hit the ground running at home with a 4-goal night. Mwah.
And it was 2 days the day after the anniversary of Jason Botchford's piece on what Joe Thornton would do if he scored 4 goals. And Brock Star, which is what we call him, Brock Star scored 4 goals in a Canucks home opener after being dragged through the mud for basically 2 seasons. And it's just, for nothing else, for everything, like you said, that he's been through, I was nearly in tears. I was so happy for him. Like, just to see that, and then the Botchford side of it, where it's like, that's one of those moments where I wish Botch was around.
Yes.
Because he would have gone in there, and it would have just been so chaotic and funny. It would have been incredible. But yeah, super happy for Brock. You heard Quinn Hughes talking about it after. Brock might score 35 goals this year.
And then suddenly that contract looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And suddenly we are not in a rush to push him out the door.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I understand the Connor Garland thing because...
Yeah, he needs he needs to change the scenery.
So
he's
that
making
trade
too much money.
Is not great.
With the Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Connor Garland, Dylan Guenther...
cap space.
In cap space for...
not ideal. That is what happens when you don't let your general manager make decisions.
Yep.
And I feel bad because it's like, I can't even believe I'm going to say this. I kind of feel bad for Canucks management. Mike just almost had a stroke.
Am I... I smell burnt toast. I don't know, this isn't good.
I feel bad because I was part of this.
Yes.
Had to take that mess over. The Canucks were 1 year away from $12 million in cap space. And pretty much the Canucks have the ability to do the Jim Rutherford quick turnaround if that deal does not get made.
Absolutely.
So I do feel bad because it's like, it's nearly impossible to do this. And then Oliver Ekman-Larsson goes out and looks fantastic in his Florida debut. He played 26 minutes.
He did. He played more than Nyquist.
Which is like...
Wait.
Forsling.
They're both Gustavs. All Gustavs are the same. Let me just say that. But, no, like, he looked...
All Gustavs are the same.
That might be not to get political, but all Gustavs are the same. No, but he looked phenomenal. And I think that just goes to show a player with the weight of the world off his shoulders.
Right.
I think. That works, that helps a lot, you know?
Right, but yeah, I think Brock Star getting 4 goals, leading the league in scoring, slaking.
Incredible.
Slaking.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible.
and I mean, the Oilers are momentarily broken. I still think they're going to win the division.
I think that was more of a testament to their goaltending than it was to anything else.
Their goaltending is interesting.
Because it wasn't just... Okay, going into a game... First of all, why was Jack Campbell the opening night starter?
Thank you, yeah.
Like, he could have had a great camp, whatever. Stuart Skinner was an all-star last year. And I know that Skinner faded towards the end of the year, like, to the point where Campbell, I think, like, was going to be the starter if they made it throughout the playoffs. But, like, what are we doing? Like, I know that you're trying to make that $5 million square peg fit in your...
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Exactly.
Gretchen.
It's not going to happen. And we just saw, again, like, you cannot rely on him, you know? He's over 30, so it's not like he's going to get better. And he let in 4 goals and 16 shots. And to be fair, it's hard to go into a game in relief because Stuart Skinner also let in 4 goals and 16 shots when he went in. But, like...
He went in cold.
Exactly.
It's not the same.
And I think that the Oilers, like, their entire roster, I look at the roster from top to bottom and I go, this is a very, very good hockey team.
The moves they made over the summer, like Jeff Jackson.
Yeah, but like Connor Brown, like getting in there, you know, like they have good guys in the pipeline, even like to the point where Raphael Lavoie like didn't even make the team, you know, and he's a 25 goal scorer, big guy, and
they were without Matthias Ekholm, who
was their linchpin, I think. Like
he makes the defense kind of go round. Yeah.
Yeah. Like obviously McDavid is the straw that stirs the drink, and Draisaitl, but like on the back end, like
McDavid isn't even the straw; he is the drink.
He is the drink.
Yeah.
But like on the back end, like we saw what bringing Ekholm into the team did to them throughout the the latter half of last year. So likely that game doesn't happen, at least as egregiously as it did with him in there.
Right.
But man, it's tough. Like that is the worst possible way you can start a season. Can you imagine what the talk would be around Toronto if the Leafs dropped 8-1 to the Habs?
Oh, the uncles in Ontario.
They would riot. They would unionize and they would riot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would have an uncles union.
Mm-hmm.
And like the Timothy Liljegren turnover, I'm like, if that was Justin Hall, you would have had a stroke.
Yeah.
Or Alex Kerfoot. Like, you would have lost your mind. And also all of Ontario's uncles. I totally agree with you.
And that Liljegren turnover was horrible.
Oh my god, it was ridiculous. Yeah. But, I mean, Canucks Twitter is so back. First of all, Mr. Booth, welcome back.
He is back. Congrats.
Welcome back, Mr. Booth.
Finally got out of prison. He came back from the dead, which is nice.
Oh my god, can't wait. And you know what's going to be funny is when he decides to get a blue check mark and impersonate.
And completely dupe everyone.
It's going to be so funny.
It's going to be awesome.
I can't wait.
Oh,
yeah,
great platform you got there, Elon. Love it.
Oh, 12 out of 10. No notes.
Incredible, yeah.
Yeah, anything else stick out to you to start the season? Oh, Devon Toews.
Yes, so right before we started recording, Devon Toews signs a 7-year deal, $7.25 million per, which might, at least for the first couple of years of that deal, because he is 29, turning 30 later in the new year, will be one of the best deals in the league.
Cool. So they have Cale Makar and Devon Toews for a combined...
Like 16 and a half, I think.
16 and a half.
16.75, I think it is.
Yeah, so basically under 17 million. That shouldn't be allowed.
They have Cale Makar and Devon Toews for $3 million more than Austin Matthews will make on his own next year.
They have Cale Makar and Devon Toews for the same price that Buffalo has Rasmus Dahlin and Owen Power.
Yeah. No, for less.
Or, yeah. Oh,
because Dahlin's making 11.
Jeez.
Dahlin's very good, but Devon Toews is going to be making $4 million per year less than...
Yeah, he's not $4 million worse.
Devon Toews is going to be making a Matthias Samuelsson amount of money less than
First
him.
of all, nobody is $2 million better than Cale Makar.
Yes.
0 defensemen in the league are better than
Is
Cale
Makar 9 or 9.5?
I think he's 9.25.
That's stupid.
Below 12.
That is stupid.
On a 6-7 year deal?
It was long term.
Yeah, it was a 6-year deal, I want to say.
Is it 6?
I think it was 6.
Let me check that.
But when you think about it, you talk about building a team, we talked about what Buffalo is doing with locking all their long-term players up, and they lock them up right off the hop before they pop. Colorado said, we know what we have in Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar, Devon Toews, Mikko Rantanen. We're locking that stuff up, and we're not even going to think twice about it.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Nathan MacKinnon on the sweetest of sweetheart contracts. Now they have to pay him. But you got Nathan MacKinnon for $5.5 million for 7 years. You don't get to complain.
Yeah.
In the same way that when Cale Makar's contract is done and he's going to be 29 years old, you're going to have to sign him for probably $15 million, and he's probably still going to be worth every penny.
Absolutely.
He's so gross.
He's incredible. Yeah, but look, that Devon Toews contract is fantastic. I'm so glad that they got it done. I'm so glad that they were able to get him... Just get him locked up, because it looked like they were going to lose him. And they will have to make some interesting decisions in order to keep this team. Even with the cap going up next year, they're still going to have to make some cuts, obviously. But having that core of Toews, MacKinnon, Nichushkin, Landeskog's not there anymore. But Rantanen, Makar, all of those guys in there, that's Miles Wood,
that's such a gross core.
That's a phenomenal core, led by a phenomenal coach, built by a phenomenal GM with a phenomenal president. It's that
and an unbelievable front office who also very heavy in analytics.
Exactly.
I'm seeing a trend.
I'm starting to see a trend here.
I love that people are this is what happens when you use analytics as it pertains to the Blue Jays, and it's tell me you don't understand baseball without telling me you don't understand baseball.
Tell me you don't understand sports without or tell me you don't understand math.
If I say, Mike, you have to buy this car.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a license. Okay.
Okay. What? Whoa, time out.
I don't drive. You know that.
You don't have a license?
I have G1s, but
I didn't know this. Okay. Let's say, Mike, you have to buy a PlayStation. long term. I'm not going to tell you which one it is, and I'm not going to tell you how much you have to pay for it.
Okay.
You're not allowed to do any research at all.
Okay.
You're only allowed to look at it with your eyes. Would you give me your credit card with no questions asked?
No.
Probably not, right? You would probably be like, can I see some budgetary, some things that are going to tell me the PlayStation...
Can I see some specs on it? Can I see,
Is it going to work?
Yeah.
How long is it going to last?
Exactly. Anything, any information. No. It makes, yeah.
Don't buy a PlayStation.
We've talked about this.
Exactly.
Analytics are salad.
Don't drink the dressing.
And
don't eat lettuce.
Don't eat raw lettuce. The analogy could not be better. Phenomenal deal for them. I mean, good teams get these guys signed long term. Good teams keep their course together and they make the decisions that they need to. Because, a lesser team, I would say, they would look at this and they would go, oh, we're going to be pretty tight. Toews is asking for more than we can probably fit into the cap. I guess we'll have to lose him. The how he even got there in the first place is exactly that. Where the Islanders were like, well,
gotta sign Ryan Pulock and Adam Pelech, who are good.
But we gotta eventually give Pierre Engvall a 7-year deal and what's
Cal Clutterbuck
and
Casey Cizikas
and 35-year-old Semyon Varlamov a 4-year deal or whatever it is. So we I guess we gotta give them away for 2 second-round picks. The Avs were in the exact position the Islanders were, and instead of doing that, they're like, well, elite talent doesn't come around very often, so why don't we buy in on that, and then if we have to, we fill the edges of our roster around with bargain guys. With a Jonathan Drouin, who makes $850 this year. With the diamonds in the rough that we're very good at finding. With
a Miles Wood for
forever and ever and ever.
Until we are parents.
Until the sun envelops the earth and we die.
Yeah.
Will the climate... Great question. Will the climate crisis destroy the earth before Miles Wood's a free agent again?
It's a good question.
I would say yes. Very uplifting question, if you will.
All right. Let's debut our new segment.
Yes. I'll give you the honors, Rachel.
Okay, so we sort of teased a new segment on our last show. We wanted you to send in names, but then something hit us. Every week, we are going to do a segment called This Is Fine. And this is what we're doing it with. We got the dog.
We did.
So, if you don't know what This Is Fine means, it actually means everything is not fine. It is very not fine. So when this puppy comes out, it means things are not fine. So, Mike, what was not fine this week in the NHL?
So, it's been the main talking point of the start of the regular season, is that the NHL has banned Pride tape. From players from using Pride tape during warm-ups and during games. And Pride tape is obviously rainbow hockey tape to show support or at least a sense of welcoming to the LGBTQ plus community.
I have a question. Is Pride tape a safety issue?
No, it is just hockey tape. It's just a different color.
Okay, because the NHL rulebook that I somehow have says that the only equipment restrictions are for safety issues. This is why you can't, goalies cannot play without a helmet.
Yes.
And you can't have knives on your gloves. And you can't have holes in your gloves that allow you to grab players because that's cheating, right? Then you have the illegal curves on your sticks and things like that. Tape is... They use tape. Everybody uses tape.
Except for Tyler Bertuzzi at the top of the stick. That's it.
That's weird. But then you also have players like Travis Dermott, Luke Prokop, who is actually a member of the community.
Curtis Gabriel before he retired.
Gabriel, John Tavares. There are
Mark Giordano.
Morgan Riley. There are a ton of examples of players who just had one little thing around the top of their stick or wherever all throughout the season. It wasn't just on Pride Night. It was all throughout the season. And it's a small gesture, but it's a gesture to say, I see you, I value your presence, you are welcome here. And so if it's not a safety issue, what are we doing?
Well, what they're doing is they're catering to last year, the reason why there was a small minority of players and a very small minority of players who refused to wear Pride-themed jerseys on Pride Night. And instead of the NHL going, okay, you are in the minority, so we do whatever you want to do, whatever, but we are going to promote the majority of people who want to be inclusive and decent human beings and don't view wearing a rainbow for 15 minutes not even during the game, which is like during a point that's not even really televised.
Warm-ups are not televised.
Yeah, like you'll see like a bench interview maybe like on a national game, that's it. Who will view these players doing that? Like we're going to view them, we're going to cater to them because they are the majority, they're fulfilling our wishes. Instead of continuing that and going like, well, tough luck, man. Like you didn't, like for example, the NHL, during COVID, you needed to have the vaccine to play in 2021.
Yes.
What happened to players who didn't? Too bad, man. You can't play.
Tyler Bertuzzi, you can't cross the border.
Tyler Bertuzzi, Josh Archibald, whatever. And they were a small minority, and they went, we are not going to cater everything around you, the outlier. You are going to have to cater to us. And the NHL has done the complete opposite with this, where they go, oh, there's a small amount of players who don't want to wear a pride jersey or whatever, so we are going to say, all right, all pride is gone. So they can feel more comfortable.
Which is insane to me, because statistically speaking, there's at least one gay player in the NHL, statistically speaking.
There's at least one gay player on every team.
And so you look at this and you go, they need to have the right to freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and yes, absolutely. Freedom of expression and freedom of speech are not the same as freedom of consequences. I can go out and say, I want to threaten X diplomatic official, and then the RCMP or the FBI is going to show up at my door because you're not allowed to say that. So those players have the right not to wear the jersey. But then other players have the right to call them out. In the same way that you call players out for other things. Like, I guarantee you, if a player said, I'm not wearing a military appreciation night, which players still wear, like, why are Russians wearing U.S. military appreciation? That makes zero sense to me. So they're not willing to take a stand on that. We're having police appreciation night, we're having all manner of appreciation nights. But a rainbow makes you uncomfortable, and the way I look at it is, the majority of society is on board with this. And if you want to be the outlier, it is on you to deal with those consequences.
That's what I'm talking about.
Make it welcoming. If you are not comfortable, that is your issue that you need to deal with internally. But you don't need to ostracize an entire community of people for 8 to 10 players when there are over 700 in the league. And so I'm really glad that players like Scott Laughton came out and was like, I'm going to do it anyways.
Morgan Riley said the same thing.
You know what would be kind of cool, though?
What?
If a player said, like a player of McDavid, Matthews, whoever said, I'm going to do it, and I'm more than happy to pay the fine. I hope the NHL donates it to a charity that's related. And then it would be even cooler if an owner pulled like a Mark Cuban and said, no, I'll pick up the tab for the fine.
I want to tell you a story
to
illustrate this. So back when Michael Jordan signed with Nike. Michael Jordan. He's not as good as LeBron, but he's close. When he signed with when he signed with Nike as his to be the sole perpetrator of his shoes. At the time, the NBA had very strict rules on color for shoes.
Right. Which
was, it had to be, I think it was like 75% of the shoe had to be white. No matter what the color was of the team, 75% of the shoe had to be white.
Which is dumb.
But how the NBA, or how Nike got Jordan there, is they went, we want to make you unique. So the Jordan 1, it's going to be all red and black, and we will pay your fine for every game. And eventually they changed that rule. Now you can do whatever colors you want on it. So if the NHL really does, and by the way, I dare them to fine a player for the PR nightmare that would be. I dare them.
Like if it was McDavid.
Yeah, I dare them to say like Connor McDavid's being fined $5,000 or whatever it is for wearing pride.
Or they'll fine him $25,000 and people are like, so let me get this straight. He got $25,000 for pride tape, but it's only the maximum allowable under the CBA for cross-checking somebody in the neck.
I'm not sure what the fine stipulations are for like a headshot compared to like an equipment malfunction or whatever, or equipment decision, but I want to see teams pay the fines for their players if they're able to. Like, I want to see the same way that Nike did that for Jordan, to be like, we want you to be like a trailblazer in a statement. So we will pay the fines. The NBA will fine you every game for wearing shoes that do not fit their 75% white rule.
Nonsense, yeah.
Which is nonsense. But we don't care, because we think it's more important for you to be out there repping our product in a unique way. We will, like the whatever the benefit of it will outweigh the $5,000 that we have to pay. And another thing too is, if the NHL is really content on this, then congratulations, you don't have the right to use Luke Prokop as your gay mascot anymore, as your inclusion mascot.
You also don't have the right to say hockey is for everyone.
You don't. But
that ship actually sailed with the Black Lives Matter situation.
Well, Hockey's for Everyone that ship sailed when they like quietly got rid of the ambassador program, and we're like, we're gonna have an announcement on this, and they just never did. Like, Sarah Sivan has done great work on this, where she realized the program went away, so then she emailed them and they said, oh, we actually abandoned that program because we're gonna announce a new one soon. That was 2 years ago. That hasn't happened. But what I'm saying is, you look at Luke Prokop and all of the NHL-centric articles, all like NHL themselves have promoted this kid. Yeah. Because there's a good chance that one day they will have the first openly gay, like hockey player that's playing in their league. Congratulations. If you're banning Pride Day, you can't then turn around and be like, look how inclusive this guy makes us. You can't be racist and then be like, look at my black friend. You know?
Yeah, that's not how that works.
It's not how that works. So
I also just don't understand, like, it's not hurting anybody. If you want to use the tape, use the tape. If you don't want to use the tape, don't use the tape.
Where are all the personal freedom fighters for this?
Yeah.
Because last year it was all about how Ivan Provorov is getting his personal freedoms infringed upon.
Which is a ridiculous argument.
So where are all the Oakley-wearing dudes right now who are like, are you telling me that players cannot express themselves?
Which is interesting, because I had a lawyer point out to me that this rule might violate the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
It does.
Freedom of expression to a protected community. So, interesting. Either way, it's a step backwards when you look at what the NFL is doing and you look at what the NBA does. Like, I'm going to leave the MLB out of this because there's way too much happening there. But you just don't need to take this tack. We're not saying you have to be rah-rah, cis-poom-bah about it.
No, but...
But tape and making fans feel included and not ostracizing. Like, we talk about, we want to make hockey a more welcoming game because we need to grow the sport because we're being passed by, like, MLS has already passed them. Right? In terms of viewership, and they have a deal with Apple.
They have Messi.
They also have Messi, right? They've already passed them. So you need to stop yourself from going backwards. And so ESPN promoting Bedard, ESPN, when Luke Prokop makes the Nashville Predators, they're gonna do a big story on him, and it's gonna feel super hollow because, like, that's just such a terrible thing that they've done. And Luke Prokop's statement was so heartbreaking. Like, to make a player who's part of the Players Association feel that way is awful. And I just, like, that really bothered me in terms of, like, we felt like we were making progress and then just went right out the window because Ivan Provorov started this wave of crap. So everything is not fine.
Before we end that too, I just want to say I'm extremely disappointed in the Players Association because they've chosen not to comment on this. We've had every other hockey league come together and give their statements on this, and the Players Association that has like an obligation to protect the rights and freedoms and
of all players.
Of all players, like you could have killed someone, and like if you're a hockey player, you could have driven your truck through the front of a store, and your team puts you on unconditional waivers for the purpose of a buyout, and they will immediately send out a statement being like, we condemn this against this player. He has a guaranteed contract. We're filing a grievance. But when the NHL says these players are not allowed to wear tape that are not allowed to express themselves and potentially express views that they hold or that a family member holds or whatever. Yeah. And it's crickets. I was expecting more from the Marty Walsh. Based on how they handled the Babcock situation, which would not have happened the same way under Donald Fear.
Yeah, A+ on that one.
Yeah,
A+.
But then they had another opportunity to come out and support the rights of players, and it seems like they're bowing to the NHL by not commenting on it. Or at least, even if they're not, even if they're behind the scenes fighting, your job is to be like a front-facing organization.
Right, and I was glad to see, even though the Players Association didn't say anything, Connor McDavid came out and said something. Morgan Riley did. Scott Laughton outright said, "I'm going to break the rule," which I think is such king.
He was like, "What are they going to do?" Basically, like, "What are you going to do?
Prevent me from playing?" Like,
it's not happening.
Yeah. Are you going to prevent Connor McDavid from playing? Well, good luck with that.
You want to suspend Connor McDavid for a game for
tape?
For using tape? I dare you.
I dare you. That would
do
look so bad.
Yeah.
But you know what? Go and. It was amazing to hear that Pride Tape has actually been inundated with requests from NHL players. So it kind of seems like they might break this rule. And good on them. Do it. Because at the end of the day, guys like Connor Bedard, Connor McDavid, Cale Makar, Nathan MacKinnon, Austin Matthews are all much bigger than any executive or, frankly, anyone of the Stahl brothers, Ivan Provorov, whoever didn't want to wear the jersey. They're bigger than them.
Absolutely.
And if you don't want to wear the jersey, that's fine. You don't have to wear the jersey. You don't have to wear the tape. But don't make other people who want to support the cause unable to do so because you want to be a loudmouth about it.
Absolutely. So I urge you to go and, if you can, basically, if you go to hockey games, rep the Pride colors. Go there, whether you have a phone case that is
we're gonna have staff and grab Pride phone cases,
and I want to have that because when I'm in a scrum, my phone will show up and it will be a Pride sort of phone case. But like if you're at a game or you're out in the community or whatever, I urge you to get stuff from Pride Tape. Get like just show your support.
Wear a hat.
Wear
the
anything.
Leafs have sweet. Actually, every team.
They do.
San Jose's Pride stuff. That was actually kind of cool. This announcement came out, and then this week was National Coming Out Day.
Yes.
And a couple of teams still posted about it with their Pride stuff. San Jose was one of them, and I thought that was really nice because they were like, you know what are you gonna do? Fine us?
Yeah.
Like, okay. So it's good to see teams kind of say, nope, we're still gonna continue on with our sort of trajectory and welcoming people. We still want to be ambassadors in the community for this. It matters to us. Like Tyler Seguin is a big one. He's marched in the parade.
Yes.
Like, I'd be interested to see kind of where things go from here. But in the interim, like I'm getting some Pride tape. We're gonna have SGP Pride phone cases for Mike, for us. Maybe we'll do like some cool giveaways. Yeah. But yeah, this has been the first This Is Fine segment with, what should we name this guy?
I feel like a name will come organically.
Right?
I feel like we will think it up, and like it will come, and we'll realize that name is perfect.
For this puppo.
Exactly. For now, he's a This Is Fine dog.
He's This Is Fine.
Yeah. I believe is that the show, Rachel?
I think that's the show, buddy.
So obviously this is the first. We will have a better lighting setup. This is, we're kind of in the middle of transitioning into here, but hey, we're in the studio, we're legit now, and we hope you like it, and it'll be a lot of fun. So stay tuned, we'll be back at you next week.